Anne Hathaway stars in this monster of a movie. Ho ho! Pun intended! Hey guys, Ben Ramsey here. So yes, today I'm going to be reviewing the film Colossal. And before we dive into this review, I just want to inform you guys that this review will be full of spoilers. So a ton of spoilers in this review. Basically, only because I don't usually do this when I'm doing film reviews. I try and stray away from, revealing spoilers in my review. But I feel like with this type of film, I kind of have no choice but to talk about the huge spoilers that happen in this film. Because, a lot of the spoilers that happen in this film are kind of what I want to talk about. Because there's some of the great things that happened in this film that I genuinely want to talk about and express on camera. Yeah, so let that be a final spoiler warning for you guys now. So if you're watching this video and you haven't seen the film Colossal, I strongly suggest you to go out, go to your nearest cinema where they're showing it, go and watch it, pay for the ticket, it's worth all your money. Honest to God, that's the most non-spoiler-ish thing I can say in this whole entire review, is that it's a great film and it's definitely worth every penny you pay for when you go and purchase your ticket. Go and watch it, then come back to this review. So the film follows this character called Gloria, who's played by Anne Hathaway, who does an amazing performance in this film. And essentially the film kicks off with, she gets back to her boyfriend's apartment and we find out she's been on a night out with her friends, boozing and cruising. And then basically we find out from her boyfriend, whose name's Tim, played by Dan Stevens, we find out that this isn't the first time she's been out on a big night out with her friends recently. And then we find out that she's actually unemployed and she's not really doing anything in her spare time to try and find a job and try and fill that unemployed void. And instead she's going out partying with her friends, which obviously her boyfriend Tim doesn't like because he barely gets to see her as he's working a lot of the time. And when he does get back home, she's obviously not there partying, so this naturally pisses him off. So then that forces him to sort of kick her out of his apartment, and then boom, that's where the story kicks off, where we find Gloria then having no choice but to move back to her hometown and essentially have this huge house but with hardly having anything in it. Now she's moved back into her hometown, she finds herself crossing paths with one of her old school buddies whose name is Oscar, and then basically he helps her move in, he helps her get settled back into her hometown, and even gives her a job as a waitress at his bar. And then throughout the first half of the film, we see these two characters start to bond with each other again. So essentially, they haven't seen each other in years, but they obviously both went to school with each other, they knew each other then, so it's kind of like they got that history to them. And then obviously Gloria starts making friends with some of the locals, and then they all end up starting to become friends and all start helping run this bar. But then things start to get even more interesting when basically Gloria wakes up the next morning, gets a phone call from someone telling her to turn on the news, and then BAM! She watched the news and finds out there's a giant monster that has just randomly materialized in the middle of South Korea, which obviously, if anyone turned on the news and saw a giant monster, obviously at first they would be shocked. I'd be shocked. So naturally Gloria gets shocked and it's kind of like, what? Like, how is this happening? What is that thing? Like, what? And then it becomes this big story around the local town. Like, everyone in Oscar's bar is going there and they're all watching the news on this massive TV screen, and they're like, oh my days, the beast, is it here to kill us? Is it here to save us? Is it just gonna stand there all the time just making weird hand gestures? Like, what is it doing? What is its purpose there? What is going on? However, slowly but surely, Gloria then discovers that actually she's in complete control of the monster, and like any movements she does with her body, the monster's gonna copy that exact movement. So if she raises her hand, the monster's gonna raise its hand, or if she does a dance, then the monster's gonna start dancing. That was one of the scenes I really enjoyed in this film, was basically there's a scene where she's first testing out and really having fun with these newfound abilities, where she goes to the park where she has to be in order to control the monster, and she brings Oscar and a couple other of her buddies from the bar, and essentially she's like, right, turn on the live feed of the monster, watch the live feed, and then look at me. Notice anything? And then she starts to dance, and then she starts to wave her hands, and then points at them, and then all of a sudden they realise, oh my days, wait, Gloria here is actually in charge of the monster. She is the one who's been doing all these movements. Oh my days. In this same scene, while she's having fun, she starts to realise, wait, if I'm in complete control of this monster, if I wave my hand over here, how do I know I'm not going to accidentally knock over a skyscraper or anything like that? So she starts to realise the consequences of her actions, and then basically her friends are kind of like, whoa, 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 Gloria, like, don't move around so much, otherwise you're going to tread on someone, or you're going to accidentally smash over a building or something like that. And then essentially she ends up accidentally tripping over and falling to the ground, which then results in her waking up the next morning and turning on the news, and then boom, she discovers that, oh, surprise, the monster has fallen down and has ultimately crushed a load of buildings in South Korea. So Gloria ends up feeling guilty and then even breaks down crying because she realises that, oh my days, this isn't a joke anymore. I've accidentally killed a bunch of people and caused a bunch of destruction, which I unintentionally caused, and I didn't mean to do any of this. I didn't want any of this to happen. What do I do? What happens now? And that's one of the things I really liked about this film, because judging from the trailers and all the TV spots I saw online and on TV, it was kind of like I got the impression that this film was just going to be a pure comedy. It was just going to be kind of like, oh, my mind is synced up to the monster. Right, now I've got to sort of like handle working a normal life, whereas I've also got to keep control of this monster. How am I going to do that? I thought it was just going to be pure comedy, because that's what they were all saying, like in the trailers and whatnot. They were saying, oh, a really fun-filled film, and really, like, Anne Hathaway is so hilarious. I just assumed, like, oh, they weren't really going to take any of this into an account, or if they did, any of the repercussions or anything like that, they were just going to sort of sweep to the side and make a joke of it or something like, oh, I accidentally knocked down a building. What are you going to do, eh? But no, they actually chose to make a big deal out of it. They were kind of like, wow, no, if I fall over, I actually kill 1,000 load of people, and that is something that is really serious and we need to take into consideration. I actually really love the fact that the director actually chose to do this and didn't just decide to make it into a full-on comedy. No, this film actually has some really serious and dark moments, which I'm going to get into right now. This is when the film transitions from a comedy to a thriller, so it's kind of like a hybrid of both genres. So you got a comedy and a thriller, and I've got to say, it works really well in favour of this film, honestly, because the thriller aspect of it starts to begin when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Gloria and Oscar are both sat in this local diner, Oscar reveals that all of a sudden, wait, he has also got the same problem as Gloria, but instead of him being in control of a giant monster, he is instead in control of a giant robot. Now, at first when this was revealed in the film, I kind of was thinking to myself, oh no, they've overdone it, they've overkilled it now. I kind of liked it when it was just Gloria and it was just her in control of the monster, and that was it, done, finito. I don't want to overkill. And now you've overdone it. I liked it when it was just nice and simple storytelling like this. No, I don't want to throw in like another big character, otherwise it kind of loses the personal connection we're going to have with Gloria. But instead, this actually gives us a bigger connection to Gloria's character, because essentially when the character Oscar discovers and really figures out that, oh wait, I'm in control of this giant robot, look how much power I've got, this is when it starts to get to his head, and his character is already a bit of an alcoholic, and he's kind of a bit of a, he doesn't feel like he's achieved much in life, and now all of a sudden he's just been given these powers. Like, he starts to abuse them a bit and kind of threatens Gloria in a way because he doesn't want her to leave, and this is the only big thing that's really happened in his life. So yeah, as I mentioned, he starts to abuse his power. Basically, when Gloria's thinking about moving back to New York with her boyfriend Tim, who visits her in her hometown, and he actually goes to the bar with her, this is the scene when we really discover, no, that's it, this character Oscar is pure off the rails, that's it, he's done, he is pure insane, there is no coming back from this. Basically, when he brings out this giant firework he's had at the back of his bar for years and years, as he explains in the scene, and then boom, he just sets off this huge firework display in his bar, and ultimately ends up destroying his bar, as he says, like, right, you know, you can see how far I'm willing to go in terms of destruction. Now imagine this level of destruction, but me as a giant robot and smashing down buildings and causing much bigger explosions like this in the city of South Korea. He even acknowledges this in a way where basically Gloria is legit walking out of the bar with her boyfriend Tim, and basically he just yells like, you know, she's not going to leave with you. Doesn't matter how much you convince her, she's not going to leave. She knows she's not going to leave. And it's such a well-written scene because you can tell Gloria's obviously not going to leave, because like at the beginning earlier of the film when she accidentally caused all that destruction, she didn't want to cause all that destruction, but it was an accident. But with Oscar, all that destruction is going to be intentional, and obviously she understands that this guy is pure insane, and she basically should never have revealed her secret to him in the first place, as this is kind of all her fault, and all of this weight is now on her shoulders as she has to protect the people in the capital of South Korea. And so in order to stop this guy, ultimately Gloria then ends up travelling to South Korea to switch places with the monster. So now she's in South Korea. Who's going to take her place in the playground? Well, of course, it's the giant monster. And the giant monster appears, picks Oscar up, and then throws him. By the time he lands, the impact alone will kill him. And then, yeah, and you can really tell at the end of this film that Gloria is still a bit broken, because it's kind of like with us, the viewer. At the beginning of the film, he was such a nice guy, so welcoming, so heartwarming, and then all of a sudden, to now having to end up killing the guy, it's kind of like, for us, the audience, the viewer, we're just as shocked. We're kind of like, wow, like we never thought at the beginning of this film that this guy was going to ultimately turn out to be the bad guy of this story. We ultimately thought that he was going to help Gloria, but no, in this sudden twist of events, you know, this is why I love this film. It's just, you know, it's completely, you don't expect any of the twists that are coming. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I absolutely loved this film. Going into this film, I was expecting great things, 'cause obviously Anne Hathaway, I've seen her in a bunch of other stuff, films like The Intern, and a bunch of other films she's been in. She's always delivered a good job and always a really good performance, and she does not, you know, she delivers a great role in this film. Like, what can I say? It's like, Anne Hathaway is one of those actors who's just kind of like, yeah, like if she's in the film, guarantee the film is gonna be good. Like, one of the other reasons I love this film so much is it's an original film. It's very rare we get one of these original films in Hollywood, you know, in today's Hollywood, where basically we have Marvel film number 20 coming out next week, or Star Wars sequel, all these sequels and franchises. It's good that we can still have original films like this that still do well and essentially can show that creativity in Hollywood is not dead, as long as you manage to get the right director and the right writing team and give it to a big, you know, big studio for them to fulfill those ideas with. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I love this film. Please, Hollywood, keep up with these original ideas. I love sequels, I love big franchises that do sequels, but every now and then I do like it when we have a film like this which is original, which hasn't really been done before, or if it has been done before, offering a different, unique spin on it and helping it still seem fresh in a way. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for my Colossal review. The overall rating I'm going to give this film is going to be a 10 out of 10. And the reason I give it a 10 out of 10 is just because the story was amazing, character development was amazing, action sequences were surprisingly amazing as well. The whole film in itself, like, you know, I honestly can't think of anything that was bad about the film. Seriously, like, the editing was great, the cinematography was great, the colour grading was great, like, just everything. Like, the directing was good, the acting was good. Honestly, I can't think of a bad thing to name for this film. And that's why it deserves the 10 out of 10 rating it is receiving. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for my review for Colossal. If you want to hear more about my thoughts of the film, then log on to ramseyreviews.weebly.com. It's a brand new website I've set up where I'm going to be posting film reviews, graphic novel reviews. I'll also start my own blog on there as well, and you can find out a lot more by visiting ramseyreviews.weebly.com. Link will be in the description. Also, the address will be here in the video right now in bold text. so you guys know where to go if you want to read more about my review on Colossal and basically delve more into what I liked and what I possibly didn't like. But honestly, those things I didn't like were very minor little details. But anyway guys, that is going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and again, like I mentioned, make sure to go on to ramseyreviews.weebly.com where you can find out more about this review and other film reviews later on, either now or in the future. Alright guys, that's going to be it. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Until then, ta-ra.